The key number here is to look at the same-store sales growth, which was nearly 10%, driven primarily by traffic growth. I think that suggests they're getting new customers back into the stores and well on their way to, expanding earnings and getting back to that $25 in EPS that we've been talking about.
What about the mobile digital push?
I think that's an important pillar to growing earnings and growing their same-store sales. I think that's where the customer is. So 100% growth in your digital sales, now over 15%. If you look back to where they were a year or 2 years ago, they were doing almost nothing on the digital side. It's extremely important to get that part right. Clearly, they're getting it right. They're getting it right on the delivery side, and it's going to start to help on the margins as well.
Are the margins going to get hit by any of these loyalty programs, some of the partnerships that they've announced?
Look, I don't think so. I think the loyalty is going to bring in new guests and start to drive the traffic higher. I think if you start to get some more traffic into the stores, I think you'll start to see the margins expand. Also, keep in mind that as more and more of their sales go digital, those sales are going to be executed off the second make line, which is a higher margin make line. Only requires 2 to 3 employees to run at peak, versus your traditional make line, which requires 5 or 6 employees. So we actually think the margin profile should really start to improve. You start to see some evidence of that this quarter with margins at around 21%. I think that is a core pillar of getting this business back to $25 in EPS, if not higher.
More, I guess, big picture. Peter, how big can this chain become right now in terms of store openings on a net basis? What are they opening? About a 5 or 6% rate a year in terms of new locations. How integral is it that they get tremendous scale? I just look at a 50 PE stock and just kind of wonder what the market is implying about the overall footprint someday.
Yeah, I think if you look back several years ago, before we had the food safety issues, we were talking about somewhere around 4,000 or 5,000 units in the U.S. After the food safety issues, that number kind of pulled back, and they were starting to pull back on the unit growth. Look, I think if margins, the same-store sales and the margins continue to expand, I think you're going to see the unit growth go along with it. I think the next leg to the story could be an acceleration of new unit development. You could start to see some of these stores open with the Chipotle lanes or the drive-throughs, as you call it. That gives them a larger footprint to go after more real estate in the country.